Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I am proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. So, probably about a year ago, one of the people that supports my story, that comes by and he'll give me some evidence and stuff, he'll find stuff on his own too and give it to me. About a year ago, Hooded Mullet was he was telling me he found this picture of Michael Jackson. This is one of those funny things, is that once you've heard the story, right, that what I'm saying about Michael Jackson being the love child of Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson, right, and then you start just like, now you're aware of it, so now you're seeing things differently, right, and then what happens is, like, all the people that are out there that have heard it, that understand, that they've seen my story and they understand, oh, this has got evidence backing it up, serious evidence, and if you actually look through the lens of my story and you start analyzing Michael Jackson's life, then what happens is everything starts to come clear too, right? So really quickly is when you get exposed to my story and you're somebody that is open-minded and you're like a free thinker, right? And you're just a basic good person and stuff, right? Just the basic fundamentals of what a human being could be, right? So those people all instantly start seeing that my story is true. And so, like, what I'm saying is, like, the people that don't see that my story's true, it's because they're stupid people. They're actually bad human beings, right? They're fake Michael Jackson fans, right? Those are really bad people. And what you'll see is that those people will be the ones trying to claim that they're the biggest Michael Jackson fans, because that's like what they're doing. They're stealing from Michael Jackson. So what they do is they steal from Michael Jackson and they try and put this label on themselves that I'm the biggest Michael Jackson fan. It's like weird shit, right? It's like weird shit of what you deal with, right? But so luckily I got other people that are Michael Jackson fans that aren't those fake loser Michael Jackson fans trying to think that they're the Michael Jackson community, that they're the Michael Jackson fans, and that you don't get to be a Michael Jackson fan unless they acknowledge you and they fucking say, if they don't say you're a Michael Jackson fan, then you're not. I mean, what a disgusting human being to be out there for these people. Like people like MJ Fangirl, you know, Michael Trapson, you know, the Mats FTR, these horrible, horrible, evil Michael Jackson fans that they just steal. They're the worst. They're the fakest, lowest dirtball scumbag of them all, of the Michael Jackson fans, you know? But, you know, like people like Trapson and MJ Fangirl, they're highly respected. Like even the Jacksons invited them over to their the Havenhurst house and let them do the Halloween stuff, right? But the reason the Jacksons are doing that, because the Jacksons are the same thing. They're the biggest, fakest losers. They don't like Michael Jackson. They hate that everything revolving around the Jacksons is only interest that the public actually has is about Michael. So like when you're a Jackson, right? Like if you're Jermaine, okay? So if you're Jermaine's like, I was in the band, you know, he plays the bass, right? He's like, I play bass and stuff, right? I'm a musician. I was in the Jackson 5. We toured. And Jermaine sings a little bit. He's not a quality singer whatsoever. Jermaine Jackson is not a legitimate singer. Jermaine Jackson could never if Jermaine Jackson was not involved with the Jackson 5, nobody ever would have signed Jermaine Jackson. He never would have got any record deals if he doesn't marry Berry Gordy's daughter and shit. I mean, the whole story and shit, right? It's the same way. It's like Jermaine, yeah, I'm sure he put out a couple decent songs and stuff, right? And like, you know, back in like 84 and stuff, when Jermaine like had a solo album, I supported Jermaine Jackson. I was a Jackson fan. You know, like one of the funny like little stories, like one of these funny little stories is that when I was like 12 years old, you know, like back in like 84 when Thriller is the biggest thing and shit, right? So Michael's taking over the world and shit, you know, owning MTV, like that whole experience. It's like one of those things, and like I got to experience that in the city of Los Angeles too, because I'm sure different cities would feel it different. But being in LA, that was the right place to really feel it. You got to really experience it, right? So one of the funny things that happened is they used to send out these things in the mail. The publisher, I don't know if it's Publisher Clearinghouse, but it was like one of those kind of Westinghouse or whatever it is. But they'd say, here, send us a penny and we'll send you 12 tapes. Something like that, right? Send us a penny, we'll send you 12 tapes. But then, like, technically what that is that you were, like, enrolling into some kind of club where you had to buy tapes from them. Something like that. And then if you didn't follow through, I guess it was supposed to wreck your credit or whatever. I don't know. But I was just 12 years old and shit. I wanted some free tapes for a penny and shit, right? So So I did that. I sent the penny in and I got all these free tapes. And I got, basically what I got was every like Jackson 5 tape, because they had a bunch of like Jackson 5 tape. So I had every Jackson 5 tape there was. That's what I bought. I bought all the Jackson. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. I am a fan of the Jackson 5 and shit, right? And if you're a Michael Jackson fan, you have to be a fan of the Jackson 5. But as it progresses and stuff, and we understand the real story is that Michael's not blood related to the Jacksons. You know, the people that insist that Michael's blood related to the Jacksons, well, you're not Michael Jackson fans, and you haven't investigated into the Michael Jackson story. And once you get into the true story, and you understand that all of Michael Jackson's pain, everything of what, like, how does Michael Jackson end up as Peter Pan, with this Peter Pan complex, right? Living in Neverland Ranch, you know, because Peter Pan's with the orphan children and stuff. It's all about those children, the Lost Boys. They're all abandoned orphan children and stuff, right? And you'll see that Michael constantly goes towards that narrative of these orphan children. He constantly is going towards that. And how does he develop that personality trait if he's part of this large Jackson family with the mother and the father in the house? You know, there's just things that's like the dynamics. It's like when people like try and tell me I don't have any evidence. It's like, what do you mean? All of Michael Jackson's life shows, once you just look at it again, because you just have to get past the one thing that he's not actually a blood Jackson. Like, people like act like I'm like talking like the crazy. They act like I'm saying like that God created. Now, like, I swear to God, every single Michael Jackson fan out there, you could say that Michael Jackson was Jesus, that God actually came down and put God's seed in Catherine, and he created this special baby because he wanted him to be like the light of the world, like that God actually intervened and created Michael Jackson with his sperm. Like, you know, you could say that to the Michael Jackson fans, they believe that. But when you just say, oh no, well, there was a young girl, Diana Ross was only 14 years old, and Smokey Robinson was 18, and it was happening right at the time that they were developing Motown Records with Berry Gordy, and they needed to get rid of that baby because there was a problem with that. That was a problem. You can't have that kind of scandal looming in the neighborhood. From Berry Gordy's trying to promote Smokey Robinson, he can't have Smokey having a child from a 14-year-old girl in the neighborhood. Because like I said, that not only would it ruin Smokey's career, it could ruin Berry Gordy's career. Because Berry Gordy now would have his name attached to it. And if that kind of scandal broke out in the early stages of the beginning of development of Motown, they could destroy it all. Because you got to think like Berry Gordy, and being back then when you're the black people, you got to understand that they're thinking the Whitey's out to get me and shit, right? Because part of that shit's true. Whitey's out to get him and shit, right? So Berry Gordy knew that his image with the Motown, the image of what he was producing had to be really clean. He had to have this really clean image and stuff, right? And he didn't want any kind of scandal attached, because he knew that any scandal attached, that the people, the Whitey would come after him and shit, right? And because Whitey's trying to make him look bad and stuff, right? He's trying to, because that's that thing. That's how the black people understand. It's like, yeah, wait till you make a mistake. Then wait till you see how the fucking white media fucking attacks your ass and shit, and see what they do to you. So Berry Gordy, all the black people living at that time, they knew what was going on, that this is what will happen to you if you open the door to scandal, that the white media is just going to instantly crush you and shit. And they like to let you they'll build you up to fucking knock you down. They want you to get big, and then they want to let that scandal break in, and they want to just come in and destroy you and shit, right? That's kind of like that's the shit that black people were dealing with and shit, right? So Berry Gordy, so like I said, people would believe that Michael Jackson was created by God's direct sperm, that he intervened. People would believe that. But when you just say, no, it was the real world, that Diana got pregnant, it was happening at the development of Motown with Smokey and all this stuff, and so they gave the kid away because the kid was a problem. You know, and then they gave the kid, who did they give the kid? To the Jackson family, who's got a big family of children. So Michael was going to be able to be raised in this house with all these other children and stuff, right? It doesn't seem like it's not the worst thing ever, you know? And when you hear like the stories, like when you hear Smokey Robinson stories and you find out his real life stories and stuff, you can really understand why Smokey would have thought it was definitely okay to give the kid away. That was not the worst thing in the world ever for that kid and shit, right? But so they did it, and you know, Diana's 14, because that's the problem with Diana. She was only 14, so she's like, well, I'm only 14. Do I really want to be a mother? You know? Now, if she would have got married to Smokey, yeah, she would have been a mother because she would have wanted to be Smokey Robinson's wife, right? But that still didn't happen and shit. Like, right, that's what you get the song Shop Around, which I've heard Smokey Robinson saying, oh, and I got to say, too, because, see, there's stuff like this is that, okay, so Smokey Robinson, the song Shop Around, what they say is that the song was supposed to be written for another Motown artist named Barrett Strong, because Barrett Strong wrote the song, or he sang the song called Money that was written by Berry Gordy. Money, that's what I want, that's what I want, do, 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 do. The things in life are free, but you could give them to the birds and bees. I want money. That song, Money. So that song, Money, Berry Gordy wrote that song. I mean, that's an all-time classic hit song, right? So that song was sung by Barrett Strong. And so I just wanted to mention about Barrett Strong is that he just died last week. Barrett Strong just died. So this is like another one of these things is like I'd seen the Smokey Robinson on the Vlad TV, and he's talking about the song Shop Around, and he was saying how he was saying, which is totally ridiculous because even the Vlad called him out on this. It was hilarious. So Smokey's on that Vlad TV, and he's talking about the song Shop Around, and he's talking about how he created it. And he said, well, Shop Around, he says, Barry told me to write a song for Barrett Strong. Okay, he said, write a song for Barrett Strong. And then so Smokey wrote the song Shop Around. And then the story of the Shop Around is like it was written in like 30 minutes and stuff, right? And it's like, yeah, because he knew exactly what to say because it was his real life experience of what he was dealing with the Diana situation, right? So Smokey says the Shop Around, he says, well, I took he says, Barrett Strong sang the song Money. And so then Smokey says, well, what do you do with money? You shop. And he says, then that's how I came up with the idea for Shop Around. But then Vlad says, okay, but that song's about like, my mama told me to shop around about like girls and stuff like that, right? So then Vlad's like, well, wait, but that song's about like girls shopping about, he says, you're not actually shopping, spending money. You're shopping on girls and stuff, right? The Vlad actually asked him about that. He says, but wait, no, that's not, so Vlad's telling Smokey, that's not what the song is about, just like the same thing of what I'm saying and shit. It's hilarious and shit, right? And so Vlad's like, no, the song's about shopping around for girls. It's not about shopping around spending money. That's not what, and then Smokey's like, well, maybe subconsciously it was about shopping for girls. Smokey says, well, maybe subconsciously that's what it was about. It's just so funny when you hear the stuff of how it develops and stuff, right? But it was just like one of those ironic things is that Smokey was just talking about that last week, and then Barrett Strong died a couple of days after that, you know? This is just like the real world stuff that actually happens. Stuff that's like, when I see this stuff and I'm exposed to it constantly, it's just like, wow, man, it's weird. It's really weird to be living through this stuff, right? So okay, so I know I get sidetracked. So one of the things when I'm doing videos like this, I have all this shit going through my head, right? And it's like, so I don't know where, I mean, I know that I'm going to talk about this piece here, this photograph and stuff in the video, but then there's like always other things in this. So when you hear me, it's like my mind can seem like it's running when I'm making a video like this, which I like that. I like that aspect because it's real. And so a lot of people, they'll see like the mistakes that I make, or they'll see me like stumbling through some words or trying to figure out which angle of my thought is I'm going to go to. And some people will laugh at that and they'll think, oh, you're not quality, or you're stupid, you don't know what you're doing. And it's like, but the people that are real understand, no, that's real. That's how it actually is and shit. You can see that he's not reading from a script. He doesn't actually he doesn't build this video before he's making it. He's making it on the fly. You know he's making it on the fly because you can see the mistakes and how he has to struggle and fight through to build up the story and stuff, right? And so the people that are the real people, they appreciate that stuff. That's the stuff they want because it's real. They're attracted to the real stuff. And then the people that are the idiots, they're just looking for anything to point out and stuff, to try and put you down and stuff, right? So it's just all the stuff I deal with and shit, right? So, okay, let's go ahead and get into this piece here, the main focus of this video. So about a year ago, the YouTuber Hooded Mullet. See, when I call him a YouTuber too, it's like that's kind of, I mean, he has a YouTube page, and I met him in YouTube and shit, but he's not really a YouTuber, like content creator. He's just a normal guy. He's just a normal guy who happened to be a Michael Jackson fan who somehow stumbled upon my story. And when he came across it, same thing. He saw, oh, this is real. And then you start, so that's what happens. It opens up all the doors. Now once you start looking at things, stuff starts coming out, and it's not because you look at something and you're making something out of something that's not actually there. It's not like that. What happens is the stuff's actually there, but now you see it for what it actually is. And so this is the kind of stuff that happens to the people that are understanding that my story's true and stuff, right? And so the Hooded Mullet, about a year ago or so or whatever, he was like sending me messages here on YouTube and stuff, because he doesn't have my email address and stuff, right? The only person that has my email address is the James Zell and shit, right? So the Hooded Mullet was like, he was like really excited, and he's like, oh my God, I found something. And it's like, yeah, because I know what this is and stuff, right? So he was telling me what it was, but he was like, how do I give me your email? I gotta send this to you. He was really excited and shit, right? And you can see from what it is, it's like, God damn, this is the kind of shit that's like, when you find this kind of stuff, like after hearing my story, that's like how it is. When you see it, when you come across it, it's like, oh my God, this stuff has been out there all this time and nobody ever saw it. It's like stuff like this, stuff like this is out there. It's like, damn, it is so crazy and shit, right? So he was really excited. And then I said, well, what is it? What is it? And shit. And then he told me what it was. And it's like, okay, well, I've heard, so me, I'm like, well, I've heard that story. And I actually think I made a video about this, because I think that J. Randy Taraborelli spoke about it in his book. I think that's why I have to go back and look and stuff. It's one of those things I have to go back and double check, because there's so much information now. Things are getting confusing and stuff. I get confused because I got so much information and stuff. So it's hard to always keep the actual, the track of everything and keep it not locked down and stuff, right? But so he told me about it, and it's like, okay, well, I was like, yeah, no, I've heard that story, and I'm thinking in my head, I don't know, I think I've seen the picture, but I don't know. It's like, I don't know if I used the picture in the video I made before, because I think I made a video about this, and I think it was J. Randy Taraborelli was talking about Michael dressing up at this thing, which is another thing to endorse, because like, even if this is in some kind of gossip magazine, like I said, I heard like J. Randy Taraborelli talking about it, like he was there, witnessed it when it happened and stuff. So this is one of these things that like, this happened. This totally happened. This is not some kind of gossip rag type of thing. This happened, right? And so, and one of the things too is like, when you know Michael Jackson, when Michael Jackson was having this special relationship with Diana Ross, when the Jacksons first go to Los Angeles, when they signed to Motown, and Michael Jackson instantly starts to develop this relationship with Diana Ross, right? And so then one of the things that I know that Michael Jackson was saying to the other Jackson brothers is he was telling them that Diana Ross was his girlfriend, you know? That Diana's my girlfriend and stuff, right? Because they had a relationship. What that is that they had some kind of relationship that was taking place outside of the Jackson family. And that's one of the things I say about the Jackson family. It's like, being who Joe Jackson was, you really think Joe Jackson was going to allow Diana Ross to build this kind of relationship with Michael outside of the family? The only reason that this was allowed to happen is because Diana is Michael Jackson's mother, and all Diana Ross had to do was come out and tell the world, this is my son. And you want me to prove it? Shit, we'll go get a blood test and shit. This is my kid. This is my kid. She could easily prove it. And Joe Jackson knew that the only real talent in the band of the Jackson 5, the only reason that they got signed, it was because Michael and Michael's talent and shit. Without Michael, there is no Jackson 5. None of that stuff exists. So that's what gives you leverage over somebody. And this was the leverage that Diana Ross was able to use over the Jackson family to build this relationship with her child, to rekindle the relationship that all the lost years that she had lost. And then this is why you see Michael and Diana having such this close-knit, tight-knit relationship, and Diana's hanging out with Michael alone outside the Jackson family, is because Joe's not in control of that. And there's no way that Joe would not be in control of what's happening with his children if Michael was actually his child. Joe would have stopped all that. None of this stuff ever would have happened and stuff, right? But it did happen. And this is the kind of things like where the fans say, you got no evidence. And it's like, what are you talking about? All the evidence actually proves my story. You have to be dumb as fuck and be a total fake Michael Jackson fan to not see this shit. You got to be fake as hell and shit, right? So Like one of the stories, like I said, one of the stories that Michael was saying that Diana is his girlfriend. So then, like right here where Michael dresses up like Diana, why would, if Diana was his girlfriend, they're having a male-female relationship, why would Michael be dressing up like Diana saying, don't I look like Diana Ross, right? So this is what this article's about, right? The Ross dresser, because they're saying like a cross dresser, right? Because this happened, right? So let me show you a little bit more here. Okay, so let me zoom in here and we'll read this here, what it says. Okay, so it says a young Michael Jackson, there we go. Okay, so it says, a young Michael Jackson poses in a wig, padded bra, blouse, and makeup. Later, he asks, don't I look like Diana Ross? Don't I look like Diana Ross? Yeah, actually, you do look a lot like Diana Ross, you know? Yeah, you do look like a Diana Ross and stuff, right? But so, why would Michael be trying to emulate the appearance of Diana Ross if he thinks that, like, if he's attracted to Diana Ross and he's like thinking if he's attracted to her as a female and he has a relationship, why is he trying to look like her? You know, but like I said, when you understand the real story that Michael is actually the child of Diana Ross, then you can see him where he's like dressing up and being like, don't I look like Diana Ross? This is the kind of stuff that Michael was doing that nobody ever understood. They joking around, think, oh, he's cross-dressing. What's he actually doing? What's this all about and stuff, right? But it's just the simple reality. He looks like Diana Ross. And right there, he's telling you, so that's in Michael's words. Don't I look like Diana Ross? So who's the person out there in the world that Michael himself is telling you that he looks like? That he's dressing up like her to show you, this is where I come from. Put a wig on me, I look just like her. We're like the same people and shit. Because Diana Ross is his mother. And there's one other picture here. So this one, it says, it has the lyrics, this is Stop in the Name of Love. Stop in the name of love before you break my heart. Think it over. Okay, so it's Stop in the Name of Love. It says Michael turning into Diana Ross. This is the kind of thing that okay, so I had known that this stuff was occurring. Like, I wasn't like super into it and stuff, but it's one of those things that just from being a Michael Jackson fan, I had heard about this stuff. It's like, I didn't super investigate it and stuff, but just by being a Michael Jackson fan, this was definitely a story that was out there about Michael looking like Diana Ross. And when he started having the surgeries, that was one of the big things, is that the people instantly, when Michael started having the surgeries, they instantly accused him of having the surgeries because he was trying to look like Diana Ross, right? Because he was like infatuated with her. Okay, so now, is Michael Jackson infatuated with Diana Ross? Because now we know that the whole story about the Diana Ross presents the Jackson 5, like that she discovers him, pulls him out of obscurity and signs him to Motown. We know that was like a PR stunt, right? The actual reality of whatever happened there at that story, that what they're saying about the Diana Ross, we know that was not actually. Now, technically, yeah, I think it was bigger than what people understood. But then there's the other aspects, because you got like the Gladys Knight was talking, that she. With the Gladys Knight stuff too, like what I say is that, like, Gladys Knight, she didn't take the Jacksons to Motown. She didn't have the power to get them signed to Motown, but somehow Bobby Taylor has the power to do that. Gladys Knight doesn't, but Bobby Taylor does. There's just so much more to what's going on there, and it's like, that's why we have to actually talk to them to find out the little details, because without actually getting from them the details, then it's hard to find that evidence to actually prove, because I've got evidence and stuff, but then I've got like evidence that like counters that one evidence, and so then there's builds confusion in there, which that's what they wanted to do. They wanted the confusion there, because as the more confusion is there, then it makes it harder for people to see the truth and to focus on the singular most important thing of what's occurring here, is that Michael's got some kind of relationship with Diana Ross, and a big part of that relationship is in their looks, that Michael looks like Diana Ross, and everybody always saw it and stuff, right? But the cover-up of Michael being raised in the Jackson family, and then the Jacksons being the band, right? And then all having their afros, and they dress them all alike. What they did there was so powerful. It was so powerful that people could not get past that. And they couldn't get past it to ask the simple question, could Michael be Diana's son? Because people, that wasn't a question you would ask. It's not a place where you would think, because Michael's a Jackson. They pounded that in our heads for so long. And that's why whenever you see Joe Jackson, you'll always see Joe Jackson. He never refers to like Michael and stuff as like, he won't say like Michael's got a talent. He'll be like, well, he's a Jackson. He's got a talent because he's part of the Jackson family, right? So that's what I'm saying. They constantly had to bang it into your head that Michael was part of the Jackson family. And why did they have to do that so heavy? Because he wasn't part of the Jackson family. That's why they did it. They are overdoing it. That's like I said, when you go back and look at it, you can see that they all are overdoing it. And the reason why they overdid it is because he wasn't part of the Jackson family. And so Michael's trying to fight back. He's trying to speak, you know, his inner voice, trying to have some freedom of who he is as an individual. And Michael starts doing that cross-dressing stuff. There's these things like that he was doing. And it's related to Diana Ross, you know? Stuff like him saying, dressing like Diana Ross and saying, don't I look like Diana Ross? And then putting Diana Ross in his will, and Diana Ross not showing up to Michael's memorial. Like all the stuff, it's constantly there. Michael Jackson being Peter Pan, living in Neverland Ranch. It's constantly there. It's always there. Once you just open up your eyes and just look at it this way, then you'll see it's so obviously clear and stuff. You see it instantly and stuff, right? So like I said, James L was trying to send, or not James L, the Hood and Mullet was trying to send this to me like a year ago, but I never actually did it and stuff. And I like I said, I'm not sure if I've seen the picture or not. I know I'd heard the story, and I think it's in a J. Randy Taraborelli that he was talking about this incident occurring. That's why I totally support, and I know that this is real, that the photo of Michael doing the cross-dressing story, I know that that's real because I've heard it before, and I think it's from J. Randy Taraborelli that was actually there and witnessed it when it happened and stuff, right? So this is real. There's no doubt about it. It's real. But then in the magazine, they do this other thing, the Stop in the Name of Love, Michael turning into Diana Ross, right? So surgeries of what Michael did, especially when he was pre-bad era, right? Because so when he's like in the Thriller era, because that's when it really was. Because then once Michael went into the bad era, then he starts, the more of the issue, it was not that he was trying to look like Diana Ross. The whole issue is he trying to become white, right? That's what happened in the media. And the whole thing with Michael. And so that's the thing too, is like Michael's controlling the media and stuff. There's so much to what's actually taking place and what's actually going on. But like I could tell you, because I lived through it, and I could tell you like what happened. So in the early 80s, in the Thriller era and stuff, and probably like the later part of the Off the Wall and stuff, and with the Michael's relationship, there was a lot going on there with the Michael and Diana constantly, you know, because they did the Wiz and stuff. There was something with them going on. But then especially like in the Thriller era, when Michael he really looked like Diana Ross at that time. And so instantly, that's what people said. They were like, are you trying to look like Diana Ross? But it wasn't just his appearance, the physical appearance. It was the mannerisms. It was Michael Jackson's mannerisms. This is what people didn't understand that they were seeing. They were seeing that the image, that they could see that there was something taking place there with Michael and Diana, and they could see that the image was what was happening, right? But what actually was happening is that what they were actually seeing was Michael Jackson's mannerisms, and they were seeing that there was much more of Michael and Diana and the similarities, but they weren't highlighting that stuff. But that was the stuff that was like the underlying stuff that they were seeing, and they weren't understanding that they were seeing that much of it, because they couldn't understand that part of it, because then that would be the thing about Diana being his mother. But so they were trying to narrow it down to just trying to say that, oh, he's trying to have surgeries and stuff because they're thinking he's a Jackson and stuff, right? But in reality, what it is what they were seeing is all of Michael and Diana's mannerisms are the same too. Their body physique, they were seeing the whole package. So then once they saw the face just started to transform a little bit, then they say that's why, like I said, that's why they were saying, why Stop. Then Michael's turning into Diana Ross. This is the reason why they're saying that the surgeries, they're saying he's having surgeries, and when he's going to the place, it's like when I was young, and most people probably have done this and stuff, like when you're young and you get a haircut, and there's like a star that has a haircut, and you're like, oh, I want that person's haircut. It's like, I want to look like Brad Pitt. Can you give me the Brad Pitt's haircut? You know, so it's like, that's what they're thinking, that Michael went to the surgeon, plastic surgeon, and they're thinking Michael went to the plastic surgeon, and they're thinking that he went in there and said, I want Diana Ross's nose. Okay, but that's all he did. All he did was change like his nose, and then he instantly looked like her, like on a big thing. Because actually, Michael has Smokey Robinson's nose. You see, Michael has the features of Smokey and Diana built into him. He's got Smokey Robinson's nose and Smokey Robinson's lip and Smokey Robinson's chin. It's like, goddamn. When you see Michael Jackson's chin and you see Smokey Robinson's chin, it's so... And there's a big defined line there. It's really defined, and when you see it and you see, oh my god, right, oh my god, it's identical and stuff. And then you got Michael and Diana's eyes and stuff, and then they're kind of like their cheekbones and stuff, so it's like a blend of the two of them and stuff, right? So then Michael just changed his nose to look more like Diana, and then he just totally looked like her and stuff, right? So this was like something was totally going on. I never made this up. This is not something I made up. This is something that's existed for a long time. And it's not me putting Michael Jackson in drag. I didn't dress him up. I didn't dress Michael Jackson up like that. I didn't put him in that outfit and say that he looks like Diana Ross. He did that. Michael did that. So either you care about what Michael Jackson, who he really is, about his feelings, about his actions and the things he actually did. Either you start caring about him, or you're a fake fan. You're just stealing from him, like all the Michael Jackson fans here on YouTube that I've encountered, okay? So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.